Now, one thing we know for sure about the 2022 mother of all general elections is that most gubernatorial races are going to be moto ya kuotea mbali sana. Or as we like saying on this channel, most of those elections will mapasi ya makaa ambayo kwangi na regulator. And Nairobi is no exception. But something very interesting has happened in Nairobi. Very dirty also. Yeah, but this is politics. This maneno about Sakaja and his real identity. Now, of course, this thing must have been engineered by people on the other side. We are talking about Azimio. Nobody plays clean in politics, my friends. Doesn't matter outside of the political divide you're supporting. And this is one perfect example. Anyway, karibu sana to my super fascinating show on this issue of Sakaja being actually from the Rift Valley and not Western Kenya as we've always known. Is it true? Well, I break it all down. A very warm welcome to my show. And as usual, enjoy. Every political outfit, every political party, every political coalition has its weak link. It has its weaknesses. You know, recently there was a building somewhere in Nairobi that looked very beautiful. Very nice apartments. And then one morning, or rather one evening, people woke up in the middle of the night to notice that this beautiful, magnificent apartment was leaning on the apartment right next. Oh yes. You know the way a man can lean on a wall or a woman? This building was literally leaning on the building next to it. And although this magnificent building had no occupants, the building it was leaning on had very many occupants. And there was a panic. People in that building said, "Hey, that was the longest night of my life." Because they knew very well anything could happen. And you can't get out of your house in the middle of the night. So what do? Do you go and sleep outside in the cold? Or do you just brave everything inside your house that may be crushed at any time by this leaning building in the next plot? A political party is like that, or a political outfit. It may look very beautiful, attractive on the outside, but there's something in its structure that is very weak, that can give at any time and cause that party to come crashing down, or to force it to lean on something, and then ultimately to be brought down, because a building cannot survive like that. Yeah. Now, both Azimio and Kenya Kwanza have their weaknesses. And on this show, I want to highlight those weaknesses. These are areas we should look at, because there's bound to be a lot of controversy, a lot of manenos, a lot of drama, ni kama video, that is going to unfold. And let's start with Azimio. In my opinion, Azimio's biggest weakness is actually its biggest strength. You see, this juggernaut of a political party has too many strong candidates. And therefore, if this cannot be managed at the nomination stage, I see the Azimio coalition losing seats that are actually theirs to the other side of the political divide, simply because they fielded too many strong candidates who divided the votes amongst themselves, and as a result gave the opponent a through pass, yeah, where they're able to get elected with very few votes. Because when you have strong candidates, they reduce each other's votes, making it easy for somebody who did not even have a chance of winning that seat to run away with the seat. Now let's look at UDA and the Kenya Kwanza alliance. UDA, in my opinion, has a deadly weakness. You see, the thing holding UDA together right now are two communities. So far from what we see on the ground. UDA is very strong in the Mount Kenya region. And of course UDA is very strong amongst the Kalenjin nation, where the presidential candidate, WSR, hails from. Now, the problem is, this union between the Kalenjin community and the Kikuyu community is a link and a relationship that is on very, very thin ice. Now, I know in Africa, ice is not something we know about. We only see ice in our fridge. But people who live outside Kenya have understood me totally. And so allow me to give another very crude example, or rather illustration. The relationship between the Kalenjin community and the Kikuyu community within UDA is like a marriage relationship which is built on madawa. A girl saw a very rich man. A girl saw a man driving a car. And then this girl went to Babu. And told him, give me charms. I want this man to just fall in love with me and marry me. Yes, I'm aware this man already has 2 loving wives, but I don't mind being the 3rd wife of a very rich man. And so she's given these charms. Now the problem with charms is that the effect may wear off at any time. And indeed we have seen many cases of relationships which are built on charms. Saa ile mambo inaanza kuharibika, inakuwa mbaya sana. The man may even get violent. The man may not even want to see this woman again in his life. He doesn't even want to meet her on the streets. When he's driving and he sees her walking in the opposite direction, he may even close his eyes and cause an accident. Hiyo ndo ubaya madawa ya shetani. Anyway, I believe I've really illustrated this perfectly so you understand. Now, this weakness within UDA has come out very clearly in the nomination of the party for the gubernatorial race in a county called Nairobi. Because UDA have nominated, given a nomination certificate to a man called Johnson Sakaja. Now, somebody, somewhere, obviously the enemies and opponents of UDA, has decided kukoroga maneno. This is politics. You should expect this. Yes, they're dirty tricks, but this is politics. Not standard 7 elections for class prefect. Done during the day in the classroom, by the raising of hands. And even if it's secret ballot, everybody votes so everybody is seeing. And the votes are put in the teacher's hat and counted. No. National elections are not like that. And so, this person who decided to koroga things has introduced a new idea that will really, really koroga things. They have told us that Johnson Sakaja, the Nairobi Senator, the very Sakaja we have always known to hail from the Mulembe nation, is actually not from the Mulembe nation. And there's an ID circulating on social media, allegedly an ID of Sakaja, that seems to prove that Sakaja may have Kalenjin blood in him. Okay? Now just hold your horses. I'm going somewhere with this. Because you might say, Allah, Kumekucha amekuwa tribalist. Mbona ana emphasize tribes za watu? No, relax. Let me explain. The things people get up to with their phones when they're in private. What? Well, there's nothing wrong with taking selfies. But did you know that a single idea can change your life forever? I know at least 2 people, regulars on this channel, who have had the experience of one idea lifting them from not knowing where the next meal is going to come from to very busy people. No kidding. I know at least 5 people, regulars on this channel, who have found an idea using their phones that has changed the direction of their businesses forever. From somebody who had a small stall somewhere in town, Nairobi CBD, to a guy who owns a serious business in some office in Upper Hill. One idea that they took in on their phone on this channel. I'm here to give you a heads up to make sure that you spare just a handful of minutes to take in the very brief video clip at the tail end of this video. Some of you have been very flattering. You have told me I've changed lives. Well, I'm hoping to change a few more lives for real with this clip. Right at the end of this video you're taking in, please find the time for this clip that has the real potential of changing your life. Now back to what I was saying. Thanks for your time. Now this direct nomination of Sakaja to vie for the gubernatorial seat of Nairobi has a victim. And the victim is Bishop Margaret Wanjiru, who hails from the house of Mumbi. I think now you're getting an idea of where I'm going with this. You know, politics is brutal. You can have your grand ideas, you can have your reasoning, which makes perfect sense, but at the end of the day, it's all about emotions, yeah, and very basic animal instincts in people. And I'm afraid, tribal instincts. And I'm afraid this person who's korogaing, yeah, I'm sure the Azimio people knows this precisely. They know this very well. And so the narrative being presented here is that in the UDA party, if ever the party is in a situation whereby there is a House of Mumbi candidate, and there's a candidate from the Kalenjin nation, the one from the Kalenjin nation will always be favored over the one from the House of Mumbi. Now I hope you realize that this is something which is so serious that it could easily bring the UDA party, what's left of it, crashing, crumbling down like a house of cards. Oh yes. Because I started by telling you the marriage is already on a very, very weak ground. Yeah, ice or charms, madawa. So already what you're doing, unachokoza a relationship which is already very shaky. Yeah, can collapse at any time. That's what it really is. Now, there's something else we need to take note of. In politics, the truth is not important. Oh yes, I'm afraid the truth is not important. What is terribly important is the perception of the voter. And so the one who organized this very dirty, smart move knew that they don't really need to convince the voter. All they need is to introduce chokoza, an idea, into the mind of the voter. And then the voter will take it and run with it. The voter will do the rest. That's really what it is. What? Hey. And you know, to make matters worse, we know that Bishop Margaret Wanjiru, who has always stood faithfully and firmly with UDA, even when Sakaja was still with Uhuru Kenyatta, even when Sakaja was still ndani kabisa of the Jubilee government, the bishop is feeling very bitter. Because despite the fact that she has been with UDA for so long, she has been with Ruto for so long, now they do this to her. And she has planned long and hard. She had already started her campaigns for the gubernatorial seat of Nairobi. It is a seat she has been eyeing for a long time. You remember when Sonko was impeached? Yeah, UDA announced Wanjiru as their candidate. So she must be asking herself, what has changed now? What is this thing about Sakaja not really being a Luhya? What is this thing about Sakaja being a Kalenjin? Hey. That's politics for you. Really, that's what politics is all about. Very dirty tricks, win at all costs. Now, Sakaja's tribe should not matter. We all know that. What should matter is the ability and the skills of one Johnson Sakaja to make a good governor of Nairobi. Period. Yeah, but I'm afraid that's on paper. On the ground, the voter does not look at it like that. The voter looks at it from a very different angle. Tumeuzwa. Huyu jamaa amechagua kabila ingine. Amewacha kabila yangu. That kind of thing. Which is very sad. I know there are many people who hate UDA. But then, as I always say, always remember what the wise of Swahili say. Ukiona mwenzako akinyolewa, tafuta maji. Uweke kwa kichwa yako haraka sana, because you're next. So today it's Sakaja. Tomorrow who will it be? It could be you who is laughing off this thing. It could be you who is very happy that now in UDA, Nairobi County, kimeumana. Folks, always do something that will stand the test of time. There's no other way of doing things. Now, there's a telltale clue in Sakaja's life, because he has not told us much about his parents. He has told us that his mother passed on when he was only 9 years old. And he has told us, this is the telltale clue, that his mother was very much against tribalism. And she brought up her children to hate tribalism and to shun it and to avoid it and not to be found anywhere near it. Now, you know what this suggests? It suggests that actually the marriage that produced Johnson Sakaja, it is possible, I'm choosing my words carefully, it is possible that it may have been a mixed marriage. Yeah, with one part Luhya and then the other part Kalenjin. Nothing wrong with that. But then this small detail, if it is true, we don't know if it is true, it's not verified. This small detail could have a huge impact in the results of the Nairobi gubernatorial race. It could rubbish all the wonderful work Itumbi and company have done, yeah, playing with the minds of people and organizing for surveys and polls to be done about who is the most popular person to be governor of Nairobi, and making sure Sakaja tops that poll. It's very funny, because actually that poll doesn't make sense. It doesn't. If you know Nairobi politics well, you will know that any poll that does not feature a man called Mike Sonko is a fake poll. Yeah? Or it's a poll which is not based on the actual voters of the ground. Maybe it's based on us people on the internet, us privileged people. And most of us think, Sonko, he didn't go to school, forget him. Sonko governor, forget it. Sonko, rubbish. That's what we think, at least some of us. But the people on the ground, Sonko ni mtu wetu, and will always be mtu wetu. He helped us to transport the body all the way to Ingo. Western Kenya. From Mombasa, it was so expensive. Nobody was willing to help us. We tried to raise funds, we couldn't. Sonko rescue team came to the rescue. Oh, my child was sick. Hata mtoto wangu wange survive. Kama si Sonko. And so on and so forth. There are so many stories people on the ground can tell you. So any poll that does not feature Sonko, or Sonko is so low down the scales, my friends, there can only be one verdict on such a poll. Rubbish. Fake. So this tribalism thing, this Kalenjin Kikuyu thing, is going to rubbish the good work. The good propaganda work that is being done. It will all come to nothing. Nakwambia siasa. Siasa is interesting. Now, in my opinion, and I could be wrong, there is nothing which Sakaja can do to fix this. I don't think even if he produced both his parents by some miracle and proved that both of them were Luhya, and also produced his grandparents, and they talked in the Luhya vernacular at a well-attended press conference to prove that he's Luhya, even that I don't think can work. Because the seeds have already been planted on the ground. You see, the common man does not take every press conference. The common man does not watch news. And a TV, in case you didn't know, they can't afford newspapers. So the news that comes to them is word of mouth news. And that word of mouth news is final. And so, in my view, this may suggest that the Nairobi County gubernatorial race is already decided. That it will go with the ODM candidate, maybe even at 6, 7 a.m. in the morning. Unless, of course, something changes between now and the election day. Yeah, because in politics, a week is a long time. 2 weeks is a lifetime. So let's wait and see what happens. But meanwhile, pole sana ndugu yangu Sakaja. Yeah, I'm sorry what has been done to you. Really, sincerely I am. Yeah. But for the rest of us who are learning, who are students of politics, this is yet another example of how brutal politics can be. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha. When God gives you a gift, it is not for you. It is not for your family. It is for other people. You're supposed to use your gift to change the lives of other people. And for those who seek happiness in this life, nothing will make a human being happier. Trust me, nothing in this world will make a human being happier than the knowledge that they have changed one person's life forever. Yeah? Now, I've been very fortunate to have been very gifted by God. And not only gifted, but also trained in the renowned University of Hard Knocks. Yeah? The harsh university of this life. And I feel very privileged and very humbled, yeah, to get to know all the time that I've changed many people's lives forever. I even know a couple of people who no longer come to this channel. Not because they hate me, but because they are busy these days. So busy that they hardly have time, but they've regained their dignity. They're putting food on the table. They're doing a lot of things, amazing things. And all thanks to some books I produced, which you can see on your screens right now, that changed their lives. Not only did they get that idea that changed everything, but they also got the skills to be able to sell without looking like they're selling. Because it's one thing to get a brilliant idea to make money, but it's quite another to do it practically and get people interested and get somebody to actually pay you real money for what it is you're offering. It is also one thing to have a business that is struggling a business operating way below its true potential. That's one thing. And it's quite another to turn around that business so that it prospers. You have plenty of customers. My sincere hope in making this short clip is to influence and change the lives of many more Kenyans, because that is my mandate. That is what I was born to do. And I felt that this is the perfect time. Many people have been hit very hard by the COVID manenos. Life has become very difficult, almost unbearable for some. Some businesses that were making serious money before Corona are now struggling. Others have shut down completely. There is no better time for these two amazing titles have produced. 101 brilliant business ideas or money-making ideas that will thrive in the country called Kenya and well beyond, almost anywhere in the world, and how to get plenty of customers immediately, very quickly. For only $25, you can have both ebooks, life-changing ebooks. And for only $15, you can have only the ideas. Now you can see details on your screens right now. You will find full payment details in the description area below this video on YouTube. Go for it. I highly recommend it. And I have a suggestion. Maybe you're okay. You're doing okay. I would suggest that you get it for a friend. You get the books for a friend, a relative, or somebody you know who is having it very difficult right now. It will help them. It will change their lives. And you'll have helped me to touch one more life, to change one more life, because that is my mission. Asante sana.